And then I've got my climbing rose here. This is a New Dawn, and you can see it's all budded up and will be in bloom very soon. I'm excited. And let's talk about these hostas. They're huge, huge. I really need to divide these next year, but for now, I'm loving it. They look wonderful. I've got a Happy Jack clematis on the white trellis, and they bloom purple. And you can see that they're getting ready to bloom soon too. And I just kind of let that intermingle with the roses and go along the top here. I can't wait for those roses to bloom. I wish they were right now. So over here, I've got some boxwood, and I have to clip back. This is the fritillaria, and they have gone to seed. I was gonna maybe leave some of the seed heads up because I think they look kind of cool, and then interplant with some perennials and things I have for this area. This is Niobe clematis, which I completely got the idea for this from the Impatient Gardener. She has one like this near her Bloodgood Japanese maple. I think she has a Bloodgood. And this is new for me. This is Phlomis tuberosa. I've never grown this plant. Jerusalem sage. And it is just absolutely lovely. I have 3 plants. I bought them last year, and they were just really a clump of leaves, not much going on. And then this year, they're just jumping for joy. They look so nice back here. And then I'll also attach a little fishing line on a stake. That's what I do to have some of my climbers go up and allow this to trail up further next year. I've got some Celine here. This is beautiful. I actually saw this in Lowe's this past weekend. I ordered this from Bluestone Perennial, but I just loved the variegated foliage and these beautiful petite pink blooms. It's so pretty, and it kind of matches the hosta. And then it plays off the variegation in the yucca that I have in a container back there too. The container's kind of hidden now that things are starting to fill in. And then limelight hydrangeas in the back. The birds are happy today. So these are Camelot Cream Foxglove that I planted from seed, not this winter, but the winter before under grow lights. And I am just blown away. Blown away. I think they are just stunningly beautiful. And you can see how many bloom stalks. They all have multiple bloom stalks. So I will trim off the spent blooms once they are done, but you can see I have this one tethered up a little bit. This was the one that groundhog was starting to bother this one a bit, so I just pulled it up. But I just think that they are gorgeous. Now these are biennial foxgloves. This one is an exception, the Camelot series, and they bloom first year. So these did bloom last year when I planted them, and now they are profuse in their blooms. Last year it was, you know, it was a gentle introduction into the garden, and now they have really exploded and look gorgeous. So beautiful. And just to give you an example, I planted some more this year, and that is what they looked like when I planted them. So maybe if I get lucky next year, those will look as beautiful as these do. That would be wonderful. This is a weeping white spruce. I definitely want to up my evergreen game. And that is a Royal Frost birch in the back. So let me show you this wisteria. This is another native non-invasive. This one is Amethyst Falls, and it is in true bloom, full glory right now. This is why we did not take the shed down sooner. I really wanted to wait for this to come into bloom. Now I'm going to try and save this. I have some of the metal trellis supports from the espalier that I saved, and we're going to try and makeshift something for this to keep it alive so that I can drape it along the perimeter roof line of the greenhouse when it gets here, or when we build it. So that is my hope. And even if we did lose some of it, I know we're not going to lose the main parts, because look how thick I mean, we're not going to have any problems here. That's there to stay. And it grows so quickly that if something did snap or I lost some of the branching up here, I know it'll fill in no problem. This has tighter clusters than the Blue Moon one I just showed you. The Blue Moon has that draping more like the Chinese wisteria. But these are just gorgeous. And then this area I haven't done a whole lot with because the shed is coming out and I don't want to be in here mulching for no reason or doing any of these things because it's all going to be coming out and I'm going to be reconfiguring all of this. But I did just want to show you some new bearded iris. These are from my friend SULLIVAN OWEN. She also has a YouTube that you should check out. She's wonderful. And she gifted these to me last year and they are absolutely amazingly breathtakingly gorgeous. Thank you, SULLIVAN. They are beautiful. Look at this one here, you guys. Oh my goodness. I just can't get over these colors. It's just so beautiful. So, so beautiful. I lost the tag for this one. I feel so bad. I hope I can maybe find it back in a story that I put up or something. But this one here, and then this brownish yellow is Ancient Errors. So I'm very, very, very happy with those. They look beautiful. And I have some white iris in the back here that have been here since I moved in, and they're just so old-fashioned. They're beautiful. I do need to divide them. This is another Happy Jack CLEMATIS. Normally I'll have, you know, the window boxes filled and everything, but there's no point with that, with everything moving. This is some catnip, and the magenta is perennial geranium. Some salvia, and these are yellow iris that I have had here since I moved in, and I love them. One of those constants in my garden that have always been here, as with the white iris, that just kind of, and always in this spot. I've never moved them. I can see back in my mind's eye what this space looked like and how everything always changes around these iris. I think I'll leave them there forever. I just think that they look beautiful. I have thinned those though, because at one point they were everywhere. I had yellow iris and not much else. This area is looking very shabby because I'm doing some changes. I removed the crepe myrtle. They were just really in bad shape. They fell last year, and that was a problem. And they never really fully recovered. The stems, the branching were super weak. So these are all Rose of Sharon. But now that the crepe myrtle are out, you can see how crowded even those are. So this whole bed is getting a makeover. I'm going to make a beautiful path to the greenhouse. I'll space things out differently. These are all daffodils that are spent, so I'll be clipping those back soon. But, you know, I'm going to keep these plants. I'm just going to reconfigure them in a way that looks more pleasing. And these are sugar tip Rose of Sharon, which I love. These are sterile, so they don't have seeds or make babies, and they have a variegated leaf and ruffly pink double blooms. So I love the Rose of Sharon. And now they'll have a lot more room to be happy and to really live to their potential. It takes time to learn what you want to see in the garden, you guys. I dig things up and I move them and I change them. I kill things, and you know, you just have to take those chances and don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad about it. If you don't love that plant, dig it up and put something there that you love, because it is your garden and you have to see it. I've got some dahlias coming back. I did not dig these. I did that as a test. And next year I'm not going to be digging my dahlia. I am going to pinch these in probably soon now. And then this here is Rudbeckia maxima. So this is a cone flower that will get great big blooms. It's very tall. I love it. My goldfinches loved it last year. This whole scene right here is so pretty to me right now. I just think it looks so beautiful. I don't love this Rose of Sharon. This is a purple pillar Rose of Sharon, and it does seem to set seed and make babies. And it's marketed as such. It's not telling you it's sterile. These tell you they are sterile, so you know when you're getting it that that's what you're getting. I took a chance on this one, and I might move it because Rose of Sharons here are very floriferous and can get quite invasive if you let them. So I might take that one out and see if somebody else wants it and doesn't mind having a million Rose of Sharons in their garden. Things are looking really, really good. This is heuchera that I dug up from my parents' garden that was there when I was little, and the owners prior to them had this heuchera, and I just love that. That's to me one of the most special things about gardening, is the memories and sharing that beauty and just all that's attached to it. I remember picking these when I was little and making little bouquets out of them, and now I have them in my garden, and it really just makes my heart happy. So these are going on, you know, my parents have been there 55 years, more than 55 years. With heuchera, they like to be divided every 3 to 4 years to keep blooming and looking beautiful. So, you know, divide them if they start to look woody or unruly, and make some more plants that way. So this is Eden Rose, which is just about to open. So I won't belabor that. When it's open, I will show you. And I have another brother Stefan here growing up the lamppost. Window boxes, I need to change. Okay, so here are the geraniums that I grew from seed. They are healthy and they are totally fine. But here's the thing. I used to have geraniums in these window boxes always. But now this tree has grown so much. I love the foliage on this tree. This is a thundercloud ornamental plum. They are messy, as you can see. Mess, all from this tree. And they drop plums for what feels like months, really. It's just crazy. But now the canopy has gotten so big that the geraniums are just not getting enough sun. So I'm gonna pop those out, put them in a great big pot, because I want to see the geraniums that I grew from seed grow into bloom. I really do. So I'm going to repot those somewhere in a sunny spot, and then I got some begonia that I'm going to put in here. I'm glad that this tree is shading. It's beautiful for sitting here and the hot afternoon sun, because it gets very hot back here, to be able to sit here. And then we also don't have curtains on the windows here in our family room. And it makes it really nice and shady, so we don't have to have any curtains. We can just see the full view out the window without any obstruction. Oh, you know what? I meant to take you out front. I'm going to take you out front and just show you what I did on the porch steps, and then I will try and stop rambling. I know this was a long one, but things are really coming together here, and I was excited, and I feel like it's important to tell you the names of things and share my plans with you guys. Doesn't that just look so much better? It looks so much better. And then I have plans for a pathway in between the gravel here, just to break up the monotony of the gravel a bit. But even if I didn't and I just left it like that, I think it looks wonderful. You have to imagine these boxwood are going to grow. You know, we have to see into the future and get our crystal ball and picture what it will look like, because these things grow fast, and they will. And then it'll be a nice defined border and pathway leading you in, and I am excited. So I will see you out front. So I just trimmed the boxwood here at the path. These are baby gem boxwood, and these are going on their second year. No, third year? Second year. Okay, I think my second year. I'm losing track, but they look wonderful here. It's one of the best changes that I made out front. And I've got some Violet Spires salvia here that blooms beautifully. And I do deadhead this to keep the blooms coming. And all you really want to do when you have a salvia like this, once the bloom starts to fade, you can cut this off, follow it down until you see new little bud, and then just snip it right above. And then it'll branch out and it'll make new, fresh blooms for you which is what we want. You can see on every little stem there, you just cut right above that, and then this will fill in and take over. My pansies, I love to plant in fall, you guys know. They do beautiful for their fall display, and then they go a bit dormant in the winter. I do sometimes get a couple blooms in the winter too, which is nice and fun. But then in spring, they wake up and they jump for joy, and here they are. So they're not gonna love the 90-degree temperatures, so I could either leave them here and let them go to seed and reseed, but I probably won't do that. I'll probably pull them out. Okay, you guys, so I caved. Let me show you. So I had the wave petunias I grew from seed, which I have now relocated. They are itty bitty. They are growing and they're fine, but they are teeny tiny. And I saw my favorite Supertunia Bordeaux at a local nursery this past weekend, and they were on clearance. So I bought a flat, of course. You would have too. What can I say? I can't help it. So out those went, and in these went. And what I wanted to tell you is, one of the things that I did, now you know, with just these 4 plants, it might look sparse and empty right now, but in no time, you're just gonna see a blanket of purple here. That's hoping that the bunnies don't get to it first. I did sprinkle repels all, just in case. You know that they form just a mass of color, and when you go along to fertilize, it's very difficult to find the root ball, right? I'm always fishing around trying to see where the root ball is so that I can get the fertilizer at the roots and not just sprinkle it, you know, water them needlessly somewhere else where they're not getting the nutrients. So what I did was, when I planted these, I put in a little bamboo stake right next to the root ball. This will get covered, you won't even see it, but I can easily, you know, tuck this to the side and see where my bamboo stake is, so that way I know where I need to put my fertilizer. So here is my front steps for this season, and I am very happy with it. Now the ivy in these 2 containers that overwinters right in these containers, I clip off some of the winter worn leaves and then it flushes back beautifully. There's some little Johnny jump ups in there that self-sow, and they just go up on their own. I don't touch these. I just leave them how they are all the time, except for, you know, trimming off some of the shabby leaves. But then I used to be big into the like one big massive container, thriller, filler, spiller, which is fine and beautiful, but I am leaning much more towards that grouped pot style. I love it, and I love to showcase beautiful pottery. I collect pottery. This is some of my Wakefield Handmade that I absolutely love, and I just think it looks so pretty to see the plants and the containers. It just, I love that look. So I really went very simple, and I planted some geraniums. This pot back here is all geraniums. This one has 1 geranium, 1 scabiosa pincushion flower, and then just 1 white Supertunia. So you'll get a little spilling action, but I'll probably actually clip that and trim it and try and keep it more mounded if it drapes too much. And then in here I have a lobelia, and then some more of the geranium that I got on clearance for $1 a piece. Love it when that happens. These were not on clearance, but those matched, and I was very happy about it. Then these pansies, okay, these are definitely gonna fizzle out in the 90-degree temperatures that I'm not ready for. So I'm 100% gonna dig these out because they're gorgeous, and put them in a shady spot on our patio, and hopefully can enjoy them for a bit longer because they are just too beautiful. And then I'll plant something else sun-loving and summer-loving and heat-loving around the boxwood here, and that's a Sprinter boxwood. That is from Proven Winners Color Choice, and that is the same variety that I have going up the path in our the new path in the vegetable garden. Very excited. So the excitement just keeps on coming, you guys. So on the front porch here, I have some beautiful all-weather baskets from our friend. You know her, you love her, you do, I do, Linda Vater. She has a new collection on QVC that is launching Thursday this week. Part of that collection are these all-weather baskets, and you know I love a basket. You know I love a basket. I have them everywhere. So she was kind enough to send these to me. Thank you so much, Linda. as a pre-release, and I just couldn't be happier. I think they look so charming here. I may even go full on Linda Vater and maybe even rub some grit or mud, kind of muck them up and make them look really worn. I love when she does that. She makes things look so vintage. These are all begonias and all different varieties of begonias, and that is really the only thing that will thrive on this porch. They get this sliver of sun in the morning. It is very much shade from that point on. So bright pops of color lighting up that shade. I'm super excited. So just like I did with my dahlias, if you watched that video, I used a black nursery pot and I just plopped that in here. Now all of these containers, these baskets I should say, come with a little green saucer in the bottom here. And for one like this that was a shorty, I just used a nursery container and just clipped it down to size. Then just plopped my one begonia in there and it was good to go. So I love hanging on to those nursery containers. Same thing here. I used a large nursery container, just a black pot. And this is begonia and creeping Jenny. I may put something else up here. I think this needs maybe a caladium or a fern or something height-wise here, so I'm still working on that. But to give this a little bit more height in the container, I put a couple bricks in the bottom to give it some elevation. So there's all sorts of things that you can do to make things work for you and to make things have the look that you're going for. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna walk over to the Venus dogwood as I say goodbye. Oh no, I'm not. I'm gonna tell you about these real quick. This is the wee white hydrangea that I've had here for many years now. They are a dwarf variety. They also proven winner's color choice, who I love, and they bloom on new wood, and they bloom all the way up until frost for me. So once these bloom and the blooms start to fade, I'll come along and I'll just snip off and I'll deadhead, and then they will just repeat blooming all season. They are just a wonderful shrub for a small space. So soon you'll see white and then all purple. So very exciting. So let's just take one last look at this beautiful tree. And I will thank you all so much for watching, for your friendship, for your comments, for just encouraging me and your enthusiasm and seeing everything that's going on here. It means so much to me, and I hope you are all enjoying your gardens this spring.